All right, can you give me a Wayne's World countdown?
3, 2, 1. Wayne's World.
No,
Wayne's World.
you don't say the 2 or the 1.
Oh, you want like a TV countdown?
Yeah.
All right, 5, 4.
Hello, welcome to Untapped Libraries, the podcast where people go in depth about their favorite pile of magic cards. Je m'appelle Neil.
Je m'appelle Vinny, and this is Untapped Libraries.
And Untapped Library crew just survived Garbage Plate
That's right.
in the Small Apple.
The crab apple of New York.
Yeah, Rochester, New York.
We love it.
We went to Commander Sealed. It was my first ever magic event.
Mm-hmm. Mine too.
It was very intense. It was really fun.
Yeah. It's the first time either of us have traveled out of town for a kind of Magic the Gathering event.
Mm-hmm.
The Commander Sealed is you get a bunch of packs and you make a commander deck out of it, and then you play all day Saturday, which we did not do.
Yeah, so we heard that this was what the event was. We didn't actually do it.
No.
We just went and hanged out and saw a bunch of artists.
Yeah, we met. That was the main appeal, I think, for both of us, was to meet a bunch of artists that don't normally come to events here in Montreal.
Yeah, so we met and talked to Justine Jones, Mike Burns, Mark Zug,
Drew Baker, Graham Yarrington.
So many great artists. We also had Garbage Plate. What did you think of Garbage Plate?
So Garbage Plate is the city dish of Rochester, New York. And when we first heard, it was like, oh, should we eat any local foods? And they're like, you got to eat a garbage plate. And we were like, I'm sorry, please repeat that. And then they said again, you got to eat a garbage plate. And so we didn't mishear them. And it's aptly named.
I thought of an analogy on the way over for Garbage Plate.
Okay.
You know, in a comedy movie,
yeah,
when someone gets asked what their name is, and they look around the room to come up with a fake name, and they're like, my name is Mike Houseplant.
Right.
Garbage Plate was like the culinary equivalent of that.
Yeah, they took a diner, they looked and saw what ingredients they had lying around and left over at the end of the night.
Yeah, someone was like, Rochester doesn't have a dish. And the person said, of course we do. We have macaroni salad and potatoes and chili and hot dogs.
Is that what you think happened? Here's what I think happened. They're like, it's the end of the night. The diner is closing.
Yeah.
What do we have left?
Yeah.
I will buy that.
What can we sweep?
What can we sweep?
Sweep off the floor.
No, it's not. It's not unhygienic. But it is like, okay, what do they have left? It's like, well, we got some, macaroni salad. We got some tater tots. We got hash browns. We got a bunch of mustard and ketchup and a couple old hamburger patties and a hot dog. And they're like, but it's just a bunch of garbage. And someone's like, make me a plate with all of that.
Kind of mix it up.
Yeah, kind of mix it up. And then draw the most lines of ketchup and mustard you can on top of it.
And then make the portion disgustingly large.
And
enough to feed like 4 grown men.
And then take the largest white onion you can find, cut it up, and then put it right on top raw.
The whole thing.
Put the whole
onion
on top of it raw. And the server was like, are you sure that's what you want me to do? Like, that's just our left. Like, it's going to go into the garbage anyways. And the guy said, give me that plate. Give me your garbageous plate.
So did we go to a magic event or did we just go to a garbage plate event? Because that seems like...
I mean, it's all everyone was talking about from the out-of-towners. It was like, did you have a garbage plate? Did you have a garbage plate? And you had the garbage plate. I did not partake of the garbage plate. It's too intimidating for me.
Yeah, I'm good for my lifetime.
Yeah, I think one garbage plate per life for out-of-towners is probably the right amount. Maybe someone loves that dish and God bless them. Yep. More power to you.
So we come from the land of poutine, which is also a kind of maligned dish, which I think is better.
I mean, the name poutine in French is also basically garbage plate.
Yeah. And our guest also comes from the land
Montreal,
of
but is not garbage related whatsoever. In fact, is super cool.
Yeah, it's Mike Carrozza. He's a stand-up comedian, a writer for EDH Rec, and a podcaster with Am I the Bullcast? Mike, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me. I too have gone to Commander Sealed, and it was a great time. And
it is a great time.
I also abstained from every offer or all pressure to have a garbage plate.
Garbage plate.
You're going to call it a garbage plate, and that description is not going to help make it go down any easier.
It's bad marketing.
Nothing appealing about it.
I was telling every Rochester person I could find, I was like, you need to change it to like messy plate or unelegant plate.
I did see it on a menu as Rochester plate.
Rochester plate is a better term.
Rochester's got garbage plate, and then like the town where Commander Seal technically actually is in Henrietta, and
Right.
they've got hots.
Hots,
which I
yes.
don't quite understand, but I think are just flat hot dogs.
That's right.
Okay.
So we ate at Henrietta Hots, and that was pretty
Yeah.
good. We had a tradition of
Big.
ending each night there and having a milkshake, and it was fantastic.
A tradition of two
A
nights.
tradition of 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Commander
two nights.
Sealed is such a good time. I'm surprised you guys didn't do that
Yes.
event. It's a wild experience. I actually, the same weekend, turns out, was face-to-face at Command Fest in Ottawa, which is where I was that weekend. But
Okay.
if the states weren't as dicey as they are now, it would have been a Commander Sealed because I've had so much fun there over the years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll go to one together.
Yeah.
That's not to say that the Command Fest wasn't fun. It's just that Commander
Sure.
Sealed was and is like
It's a
the
good
con
time.
that's got my heart, I think.
We should also say it's a fundraiser for the Trevor Project
Yes.
and Trans Lifeline, which are amazing charities.
Yeah.
And I think they raised over like 80K.
Yeah, almost
Over the-
80K.
They beat last year again.
It's madness, and
Yeah.
hats off to the organizing group because it was a fantastic event for a great cause.
We went to a fascist country to play Magic, but we did it for a good cause.
That's right.
Good.
I might
Yeah.
might cut that out. I don't know.
I mean, no, you're correct. It's nothing you said was inaccurate.
No, it's true.
Well, welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're here in Montreal. We're here in Montreal.
Yeah.
But we're not together.
But we're not all in the same
No.
room.
No.
We still zoomed you in like all our
Uh-huh.
international guests. I love it.
So
Yeah.
you didn't partake in Garbage Plate. What are your thoughts on poutine?
I love poutine. It's
Yeah.
the trick is, first of all, not only is the gravy have to be good,
Correct.
but it's also going to be minimal. I don't think
Yeah.
people understand
Ooh.
just how the quantity of gravy can just be such a killer for yourself when you're eating a poutine. The
100.
cheese needs to be
Mhm.
the squeaky cheese from Quebec.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, it doesn't count. Your fries need to start crispy and get wet with the gravy. That's just how
Correct.
it's supposed to be. And your
Mhm.
gravy should not be a soup at the end. You follow all this,
Yep.
you're having a great poutine. Also, gravy shouldn't be too salty, but that's the last thing I'll say about it.
Everything in a poutine is salty, so you're putting
Exactly.
salt with salt.
Yeah, you don't need more salt.
But
No.
poutine, I don't want to alienate our Rochester audience, but all the elements in poutine add up to more than the sum of the parts. All the ingredients
Yes.
sing together. They're really good. A Garbage Plate, I would say, does not add up to greater than the sum of the parts.
Look, I want to be clear. We loved Rochester. We loved the event, and we loved the people that we met. But maybe
However-
however, the signature dish is not really. It's not our bag. We'll put it that way.
Calling
It's
it
not
a
our bag.
signature dish makes me think of Hell's Kitchen with Gordon
Right.
Ramsay judging,
Yes.
and you've got one chef from Rochester who's like, "I'm gonna make you this hometown special, baby."
Oh, yeah.
Rocks up with a garbage plate. He's in the pantry looking for. He's like, "Where's the ground beef that's almost bad?" You know, he's like,
Yeah.
they won't let him have a whole onion. 'cause
No.
he's like, you know what? I just need the moldy part at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, just give me as many half white onions.
He's
you got.
mad they have fresh ingredients.
yeah. Those are definitely not needed.
Only one bottle of mustard. I need 2.
Uh-huh. Shout out to Henrietta for the hots. I'll say
Henrietta
that.
Hots. Yeah, great place to eat.
And shout out to the people of Rochester who are all great.
Yes, everyone
Very
we met
sweet.
there was phenomenal.
Very
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah, so great.
So good event. But we're not here to talk about Commander Seal. We're here to talk about Mike and Mike's
Me.
deck. Yes. So you
Yeah.
brought a commander deck for show and tell today. Who's your commander, Mike? What's going on?
My commander is Lyzolda the Blood Witch, who is a Rakdos commander
Nice.
from one of the OG Ravnica sets. I believe it's from Dissension. I'm going to actually confirm that. My God, how do I even put this? Lyzolda is one of my favorite card designs in Magic because it embodies something that I really appreciated about design from that era, which is the legendary creatures that cared about two colors but had them on
Mm-hmm.
separate lines and allowed you to
Yes.
kind of go, okay, here's this, here's that, and if you get both colors, well then you get both bonuses. Something like Otesa, Scion of Orzhov, and then you've got something like Momir Vig, Simic Visionary. Those are the kind of creatures that I gravitated towards when I first started playing Commander. And I always really liked Lyzolda because this text box is wild, and I'm happy to read it for you.
Yeah,
Go for
go
it.
ahead.
For 1 in Rakdos, so 1 black red, you've got a legendary human cleric named Lyzolda the Blood Witch, a 3/1 with 1 ability. Very simple. 2, sacrifice a creature. Lyzolda the Blood Witch deals 2 damage to target creature or player if the sacrificed creature was red. Draw a card if the sacrificed creature was black.
Perfect. It was a great, simple,
simple,
Rakdos.
elegant card.
Yeah, 1 ability, huh? Isn't that fun?
I love it.
I love the simplicity of it, but also it doesn't prescribe a way to build the commander. It doesn't tell you like, hey, this is how it's done and only this way. It says you have this option, find as many as you want, but in the end, it's a sack outlet in the command zone that can either deal damage or draw you cards. She's an older commander that is not super represented in the most popular commanders lists. She's a commander from an iconic block in Magic's history. Just like a whole bunch of things that just go tick, tick, tick for me, and I just love it. I have always really loved this card.
Her art is also very of the era. She's quite scantily clad. I would maybe describe her as dressed like an evil figure skater.
Totally. Yeah, she's definitely kneecap somebody.
Yeah.
And she has like a funky headdress too that looks like maybe it's like a bug or a lobster.
Well, I think that's got to look a lot like the Rakdos sigil, right? Like it's it's got to be that, right?
Yeah,
because she is the Rakdos Blood Witch.
She's the Rakdos Blood Witch. You gotta have a rock a sigil if you're the Blood Witch.
Yeah, I think that it's also fun because one of the characters in Mortal Kombat I think is like coolest is Scarlet, and she's a Sangromancer as well, so she deals with blood and weaponizes it. I just think Lyzolda is a really cool commander, and over the years, I found myself thinking like, this is my favorite deck style. This represents a lot of what I appreciate, and so I have spent time tuning this deck quite a bit without going over the edge, like being a little competitive and blinging it out quite substantially. This deck is my most expensive deck by a mile. It's the only deck I have that's double sleeved. It's got my expedition lands. It's got my special treatment secret lair stuff. It's got everything that I think looks the coolest and is shiny and belongs in a deck for Rakdos. And that's what I do with this one. It's been a really nice project to have.
All right. So I assume you're playing creatures, you're sacking creatures, you're causing damage, a little bit of a aristocrats theme. What's the overall game plan for the deck?
It's just as you described it. Aristocrats, not necessarily always a death by 1,000 cuts, but we can get there. You've got the Mirkwood Bats in the deck. You've got Zulaport Cutthroat in the deck. But you've also got some like theft stuff in here, kind of like a coercive recruiter situation where, I've got Kiki Jiki. I didn't want to put Zealous Conscripts in the deck because I have Kiki Jiki in the deck, and Kiki's a little bit better.
It's a fair Kiki Jiki, or are you trying to combo it?
Well, I'm not trying to combo is the thing. I'm trying to do a lot. I love to build an engine that can do it for a little while, but the moment it becomes an infinite combo and it isn't at the very least 6 pieces, I'm off it.
So let's just kind of quickly review some of these cards you mentioned. Like Zulaport Cutthroat is kind of like one of the standards here. So it's like a black and 1/1/1. And when it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. And so you have a bunch of stuff when a creature you control dies or goes to the graveyard, your opponents are losing life. So you have Marionette Apprentice, a Gate Instigator when it comes into play. And then Kiki Jiki, a Mirror Breaker, haste 2/2 for 3 red and 2, which seems expensive, but tap, create a token. It's a copy of a non-legendary creature control. It gives it haste, and then at the end you sack it. So you're constantly like putting things into play. You're sacking things. They might be red. They might be black. They might be your opponents. You don't care.
Right. So the idea is to say, with Kiki Jiki, what I really like copying is something like Chaos Defiler, which is from the Warhammer 40k precon. It's 3 black-red for a 5/4 artifact creature demon construct. It has trample, but more importantly, when it enters the battlefield or dies, for each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of them chosen at random.
Oh, at random is nice. That's fun.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun to like have that out and try to make some deals, but also you make a copy of it. You use Lyzolda's ability to sacrifice it right away. That's 2
Mm-hmm.
triggers immediately. Plus, you draw
Right.
a card and you deal 2 damage somewhere. I've really been enjoying copying that with Kiki-Jiki.
Oh, hang
Jiki
on, hang
is
on. I want to know if there's a lot of stuff on the table. How are you choosing something at random? What's your
Oh
system?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. The Chaos Defiler, it's not like a bunch of stuff is chosen to be randomized. It's
You're
I
choosing among
choose one
3.
per player, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
No,
You
I
don't
see.
that
you don't do a spin the bottle on the
Because I thought it
table
was
and
like a
then
spin the bottle. Yeah, I thought it was like spin
no.
the grenade.
I'll roll a 6-sided die and pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? In
Totally makes
pairs, and that,
sense.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
I
that's
get
what
it
I tend
now.
to go with.
And
All
you
right.
just say like, for you it's this, for you it's that, for you it's this, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
And then someone cries.
oh, that sounds
Uh-huh.
that
Two
sounds
of them
really fun.
probably end up crying. One on the way in, one on the way out. And so, what was the other thing you were going to copy with Kiki Jiki?
Well, I've also really enjoyed copying something like Body Launderer. Body Launderer is a mythic from New Capenna that doesn't get nearly enough love. It was my
Mhm.
card of the year that year, just to give you an idea of how much I love this card. Sitting at
Okay.
straight up 81 cents for the base foil if you're
Mhm.
looking up prices. A Body Launderer is 2 black for creature ogre rogue. It's a 3/3 with death touch and says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Body Launderer connives, which is to say draw a card and discard a card. If you discard a non-land card this way, put a +1/+1 counter on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then another line of text that says, when Body Launderer dies, return another target non-rogue creature card with equal or lesser power from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's some reanimation shenanigans in the deck already, but this, and then, Junji, the Midnight Sky, for example,
Right.
or
And that's
Chainer.
sushi.
Yes, Chainer, the Nightmare Adept, can also reanimate stuff,
course.
and it's kind of like
Pretty
it's an
sweet.
aristocrats and a reanimation deck where it's kind of doing a bit of both, but for the most part, it wins by having lots of tokens and sacrificing them to Lyzolda to control the board and keep your hand full.
That's pretty sweet.
Hmm.
And you also, you mentioned Coercive Recruiter, which is like a red and 4 or creature orc pirate 4/3. And when it enters under your control, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste and becomes a pirate. So you can steal other people's creatures and sack those too.
Exactly. I think it does, I guess, technically go infinite with Kiki-Jiki, huh? Okay, I got to rethink that one.
So wait, how would that work? Can you walk us through how that would work? You make a copy of the Coercive Recruiter.
With the Kiki-Jiki, and the Coercive
Yeah.
Recruiter then
Makes a-
targets Kiki-Jiki.
You
Yeah.
control it, untap it,
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then-
Yeah, untap it. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
and then you just
Yeah.
go back and forth.
So it is
Oh,
basically Zelda's conscripts. The reason I went Coercive Recruiter over conscripts, to be honest, originally, was the combo is a Zelda's conscripts Kiki-Jiki, which is Zelda's conscripts is the same idea except it's target permanent instead of target creature. And it doesn't do it when another pirate enters the battlefield. Those are the chief differences. But Coercive Recruiter, I found really good with a couple cards that I've added in the deck that are skeletons that end up, stealing some stuff for me. So reassembling skeleton, pirates, pardon me, skeleton crew is who I'm talking about.
Who's the skeleton crew?
So skeleton crew is a 3 and a black skeleton pirate that says whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. It makes a pirate token whenever you bring something back from your graveyard, then you control something else. There are a few ways to get things out of your graveyard, most notably Phyrexian Reclamation is like probably the easiest because you pay
Right.
2 mana, 2 life, and return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. And on all the reanimate spells that are in here that are just basically like, hey, this brings back a thing when it comes in. So this is kind of what I've always really liked is like this idea of the dancing between the graveyard and the battlefield. To me, it's the most interesting dynamic that Magic produces. I love it so much. I think the graveyard being an extension of your hand is everything for me. I don't know if I'd be as interested in Magic if I didn't have that kind of sandbox to play in.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. There's an old card that's crazy overpriced, but it's very fun called Cauldron Dance. It's 4 black and red. And you play it, I think, at the beginning of combat, and then you take a creature card from your hand and a creature card from your graveyard. They both go into play and have haste so you can attack with them. And then at the end of combat, the one that came from your hand goes to the graveyard, and the one that came from the graveyard goes to your hand. I love that card. So that's what your deck immediately made me think of.
So that's kind of like the inspiration for the deck, really. It's not in the deck anymore. Earlier versions did have the deck, but I opted for a permanent heavy build rather than
of course.
than one with instants and sorceries. But a Cauldron Dance is for sure among the all of it. It's truly.
I love that whole thing.
I started playing around 7th edition Mercadian Masks, but when I really felt most confident with my understanding of the game and to kind of feel like I was growing was around Invasion Block, which gave us my favorite card of all time, which is Phyrexian Altar.
Which is in the deck, of course.
It's in the deck. Not only is it in the deck, but I found an Invasion foil for $200 when it was originally like $850. I think somebody mismarked it online. Not my problem. Sorry, not sorry. Gimme. It was an LGS, I guess, that had it listed elsewhere, and then they honored it, which is cool. And it was a big LGS. So I think they're okay. Yeah. They're still going.
All right. Okay.
But Phyrexian Altar is like that turning point where I was like, why would I want to sacrifice creatures?
To
add mana, and then you kind of go, oh, and that's when it felt like it was all coming together. The roots of aristocrats. They're there for me. Invasion's got a lot of inspirational points for me.
This is a good point to ask you. Like, let's talk about how you got started. How did you get into this? Who brought you and who taught you Magic the Gathering?
So my cousin had cards growing up, but he wasn't really playing, and I would just look at them and I'd read these words and I go, what does any of this mean? And then I'd go look up some of the definitions and I'd be like, so how do you play? And he wouldn't know. And then I think it was one day at Videotron, believe it or not, when they were at a video store, Videotron had the column with like the spinning glass where they have booster packs and stuff for Magic. And my dad and I were renting movies, and I said, you know what I'd really like is that right there, which is a 7th edition tutorial, like with a disc and everything. Like it was,
cool.
Sorry, like just to translate, Videotron is Blockbuster. It's the same deal, right?
It's a video store that had Magic cards and the Magic Get Started deck. And that's how I got my start. Like I played with that a lot, and every time it would end and it would say, okay, sign up for Magic Online, I'd be like, I'm not allowed on the internet and I don't have $5. So
how old were you? How old were you at this stage?
Probably 9.
Nice.
So that's what I did until my parents realized that I really liked it and I kept asking for it. And then they got me a 7th edition intro deck, like pre-con. My friend was in the same boat as me and his parents got him another one. So we would just basically play Magic together that way.
I love it.
For a while. And then you quit and you go back in at Theros.
Nice. Yeah, I got started a lot with Fallen Empires because they were so cheap. And I just kept buying Fallen Empires. I didn't know that they were terrible then.
Whatever. If it made you smile, that's what matters.
Yeah, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And Fallen Empires was the first set that had different arts with the same card. Sort of started that trend. Well,
the alt art treatment.
I don't want to say it started that trend because the trend sort of went away, but it came back, and now they got the booster fun. Different arts for the same card. So do you feel like Rakdos is sort of your home color? Is that the archetypes that you feel most comfortable playing?
I'd say I'm most known for playing Rakdos stuff for what it's worth. I've got my Lyzolda deck, I've got my Anya Falconwrath discard deck, I have my Prosper Tomebound deck, my Rakdos Muscle deck. I definitely feel best with these colors in my hand. That's not even mentioning the decks I have that are those colors plus another one. You know, I've got a couple Marduk decks. I think what it comes down to is my favorite color is black, and what black can do with any color combination will speak to me. I've got several blue-black decks, a few white-black decks. I tend to stay away from green, so I've only got 2 or 3 green decks at all.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally with you. I don't want to be controversial again to...
You're really pushing people's buttons
I
today,
know,
man.
I'm really riding the edge here, but yeah, green to me just doesn't... I find it boring. It's not interesting to me.
I have
if
2
it doesn't
mono
speak to you,
green
it doesn't
decks.
speak
That's
to you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
I like green. Well, you know, I get it if you don't like green. It's not, I'm not saying it's
Sure.
bad.
Well, two of my most recently built decks were green. One of them was Genova from the Final Fantasy set, so the black
Mm.
green one. And then the other one was the Master Transcendent from the Fallout set, which is the black green blue one. Those are the ones that I've built recently, but before then, you'd have had to go way back for a different one that I'd built because I have not touched green in a long time.
You sound like you have a lot of decks going at the same
Yeah.
time. That's a lot. What are you
Yeah,
up to?
I don't remember anymore. I'm in a period where I'm taking stock of them and taking them apart
Hmm.
just to kind of refresh and stuff. I do have a few that I feel like are stepping on each other's toes, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had to embrace that because the playstyle that speaks to me most are it's gonna step on each other's toes. I like when I have a lot of things and I sacrifice those things to get more things. I love when I have a
Mm-hmm.
graveyard that's full so I
Mm-hmm.
can use it to my advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So to
yeah,
me, it's
yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna do the thing that's similar to this thing, but it's gonna be different. It's gonna look different, and some things are gonna play different. And I've got like an edge here that I don't have here. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's kind of like, okay, I think I can be okay with some of this overlapping, but I try to
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
give it each like a bit of an identity. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
I hear that. I hear that. I had an Alenda, the Dusk Rose
Mm.
deck. It was basically a straight up Orzhov aristocrats,
Yep.
and then as soon as Zergo came out for
Mm.
Tarkir,
Tarkir,
Dragonstorm.
yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna build an immobilized deck, and then I was like, oh, this is just my Alenda deck without Alenda. So I just took my Alenda deck part and took half the parts and smushed it together with my Zergo deck,
Mm-hmm.
and it works great now. I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Sometimes you have multiple decks and they step on each other's toes. Sometimes they're different enough to coexist, and sometimes they're like, you know what, I only need
Yeah.
one of these.
Yeah. Yep.
I like
That's definitely where
potatoes,
I'm at.
cheese curds, and gravy together. They all work
That's right.
perfectly.
They work together, baby. That's the where it's at.
That's
We
that's
should
right.
hold our hands over our hearts when we talk about pizza, and I'll
That's
tell
right.
you what. Not because of patriotism or anything, but because that's where you're likely to feel the pain first if you have
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah, yeah. The heart, because of the heartburn.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah. So how long have you had this Lyzolda deck? Yeah.
Man,
Like Lyzolda's an old card, but maybe you made this more recently.
I've had this deck. Let's see. I think if I'm not mistaken, I've had this deck since before I moved to Toronto for a couple of years, which would have been at least 2017. So I would put this at probably 2016 that I've been like rocking this deck and like changing it up. Like a lot of things have changed with this deck, but I've really honed in on what I wanted, and I think that's not going to change for a while. There's a lot of pieces in here that I will test and pull out and change and stuff, but for the most part, I know for a fact that like this blood crypt isn't going anywhere, right? It's still in the it's going to be in this deck. I've been toying with this deck for a long time, tinkering with it over the years, and it went from being a deck where I only play cards that are both colors, or I only play creatures that are red and black or produce red and black tokens, and then you realize how shallow that pool is, and then eventually you find out that you want to prioritize black tokens over, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of stuff that didn't survive the initial build that I still will not part ways with
Right.
because I recognize them as the cards that I bought for this deck, even though they are not good cards that are
Sure.
truly not really worth anything. And because they're not worth anything, I don't see the need to sell them. So they get to sit in the box for me to
Yeah.
discover again when I go through them in a year or so. But I'd say, yeah, I've had this deck for nearly 10 years at this point, which is
Wow.
absurd to think about.
That's
Would have been
amazing.
2017. 2017 makes a lot more sense to me, but yeah.
Well, we'll buy it a poutine for its 10th birthday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can blow out the candle.
hmm Just waving a deck.
That's it.
Are there any cards in this deck that are here because you love them and not because they're particularly strong?
I'd say a card that has withstood many cuts despite friends recommending that I cut them.
Mm-hmm.
Reassembling Skeleton is
Mm-hmm.
1 in a black for a Skeleton Warrior, 1/1, and then for 1 in a black, return Reassembling Skeleton from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially with Lyzolda, that just reads like, bringing something back from the graveyard if you didn't have to block and sacrifice something or whatever, and then you get to use it next time to draw a card, or it's another way to, if you've got a lot of those skeleton crew tokens lying around and you have a mana echoes out, well then 2 mana from the graveyard at instant speed, boom, now you've got a bunch of mana echoes, mana to mess with, and Lyzolda lets you sacrifice all those tokens and the reassembling skeleton that you just brought back so you can fill your grip. Reassembling skeleton is one that I don't want to cut, but people like to bring up as one that doesn't do the work it needs to be doing. I just think that it's also just fun that the flavor of the deck is that this witch keeps sacrificing this one skeleton and it comes back being one more time, please. Like it's a ride at the at the theme park. I don't know that there are really any that stand out as ones that I keep in because I like them more than they are good, but I think that's because I like the cards that I like. You know what I mean? I can't tell which of these would be that description. I guess Wriggling Grub might be one that I've had to defend when
I've never seen this card before. It looks great though. It looks perfect.
So that's
I don't think it looks bad at all.
It's an uncommon from a Jumpstart set, so you couldn't find any for a little bit. It's 1 and a black for a 1/1 worm. When Wriggling Grub dies, create 2 1/1 black and green worm creature tokens. You get to draw 3 cards off of one guy. You could bring that back, have him die again. Now that's more worms, and
100%.
they all do some more with that mana echoes I mentioned before. I think that there's something there, but when that Jumpstart set was spoiled and people were freaking out about this legend or that legend, or talking about this guy, oh my god, I can't believe I get to build around this giant turtle or something, I'm over here like, give me the bug,
give me the 1/1 worm. Yeah, I actually noted it down as I didn't know about this card, and I'm gonna pick one up, I think, and have a deck it goes in. So
nice.
yeah.
Well, if you like that one, you'll like Synapse Necrosage. If that's up your alley, then you'll like that one for sure.
In 2/3/1 Fungus Wizard. When Synapse Necromage dies, create 2 1/1 black fungus creature tokens with this creature can't block.
Oh, the grub is much better. Yeah,
it's better, but it's also still it's something. Like it's
a 3/1 for 3 with 2 creatures stuck to them.
Yeah. I have a charade deck who basically reanimates creatures power 1 or less, and Wriggling Grub is perfect in that deck. You sack it.
You keep making 2 tokens every turn, basically.
Yeah, you make 2 tokens. The worm comes back. You sack it again. You're like able to go through 3 bodies in your Blood Artist loop. Yeah, that's really good. I've never heard of it.
I really like that one. You mentioned Blood Artist. Blood Artist is notably absent from this deck because I decided to embrace a mix between red and black Aristocrats effects. So rather than having them all be Blood Artist or Zulaport Cutthroat, I also wanted there to be Molten Gatekeeper and Agate Instigator, which both read whenever another creature you control dies, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a mix there. So I didn't want too many Blood Artist or adjacent effects like that in the deck.
The artists for Agate Instigator and Molten Gatekeeper were both at Commander Steel this weekend.
Nice.
We talked about them.
I'm not the same guy though, right? There's Joe Slusher and
Quentin Glim.
Quentin Glim. Yeah. Okay. Agate Instigator is great, but that little token's hard to find.
We could have picked you up in Artist Proof.
Had I known, I would have maybe asked her the favor.
Yeah,
saved on all the shipping.
That's right.
I'm going through your list. I think I found a combo, an infinite combo.
Oh,
there is one infinite combo.
Is it Murderous Redcap, Micaeus the Unhallowed, and a sack outlet? I believe is Game Over.
That is Game Over. So I leave that in the deck, but I opt not to play them unless we're entering hour 2 or people are getting sluggish, then I can land it. I don't play any tutors in the deck. When they come up, they come up. I'm not looking to end the game with a combo like this, but if it has to be, it has to be. You know what I mean? So
right. Someone has to win. Why not you?
The red cap is just like one of the first creatures I bought for the deck to begin with. And I got the OG F&M foil promo for it. If I ever take this deck apart, the last one to go before Lyzolda is Murderous Redcap. Like, I'm saving that one to be unsleeved last. I really love this card for it. Micaeus is just because I mean, you see all the stuff that dies and can come back.
Yes.
You know, there are a surprising number of humans in the deck, but at the same time, we just talked about Wriggling Grub. We're talking about the Synapse Necromage. You know, Sholdred is in the deck. Sauron. Whole bunch of stuff to bring in the deck, but also...
It's the March of Machine Shieldred, just to be clear.
That's right, the Edict effect. But there's also Puppeteer Click that goes infinite with Micaeus as well. Puppeteer Click, I can do infinite ETBs and LTBs. So it's also a persist creature that ends up entering with a +1/+1 counter from Undying. So it kind of goes both at the same time. It doesn't necessarily have to get me any creatures from an opponent's graveyard to be any good for me, but if an opponent's graveyard is stacked, then that means I get a pretty great attack.
Yes.
On top of the fact that if I do have a Molten Gatekeeper or a Zulaport Cutthroat, then I can just beat it like that.
Sweet.
Micaeus is a card that I have been toying with taking out of the deck, but it's also a formative card for me, because when I found out about Micaeus, I was kind of thinking, like, all my creatures die and come back. That's so much value.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got to make sure you're not playing too many humans, but isn't that fun? Like, it's
for sure it is.
The white Micaeus was a foundational card for me. When I saw it when I was a lot younger, I was like, that is the best card I've ever seen. +1/+1 on each creature you control. It's so good.
It's pretty good.
I remember one of the first times I played Commander at a shop. God, it would have been like 2013. I went to a shop to play Commander. We weren't spoiled for choice with our opponents. So I had a precon. These two other guys had precons. They were also new to the game. And one guy sits down with us and we're like, how long have you been playing? And he's like, oh, I've been playing for like 20 years. We're like, sick. Okay, well, we're new. We're going to play this. And he pulls out two decks. One of them is Erebos, God of the Dead. And one is Micaeus the Unhallowed. And I'm like, what's okay? So you have two, okay, sure. And then he played both of them, but it was the Micaeus deck that he played first, I think, where we just did not stand a chance.
No,
he ran everything that you could possibly believe is like broken and cracked. You had this guy resolve like Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Soul Ring, Dark Ritual. Micaeus turn 1, and then the next turn he just would slam and then play a thing and just get it back immediately. It was just like a mess. It was disgusting. And then he, by turn 3, he had Triskelion out and Micaeus and a sack outlet. You're like, okay, so this is how I learned about this 3-card combo.
Okay, so you saw this guy in the LGS and you were basically, this is the coolest person alive. I want to do what this guy does.
No. I thought, I hate this guy and I never want to see him again. And then after weeks and weeks of thinking about this card and thinking it's a lot like that white Micaeus I saw, but it's evil and I kind of like that more. Maybe there's something there.
Maybe the power is seducing.
Yeah, I think that's when I was thinking about, okay, maybe I make a zombie deck, and then I found a Dimir Commander back then to try that with, and you know, back then you didn't have many choices, so I picked Grimgrin, and then the Scarab God came out eventually, and then I had my Scarab God deck for a while.
And then you sat down with some teens who were learning to play with a precon.
Never did that to him, that's for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any good stories about playing this deck?
Yeah, any moments that stand out with this bad boy?
Bad girl?
One story that comes to mind right now is actually from Commander Sealed a couple years ago.
Okay.
Nice.
It was the last game of our time together. It was myself and a bunch of other writers for Commander's Herald and EDH Rec. And we decided we're going to play a 6-player game, but Lenny's going to play his group hug deck, so it's going to go a little bit faster. So we all get to play a game without having to not play a game with each other. And, of course, a group hug deck, you're going to get so many resources. And somehow, for some reason, I was not benefiting. I was not doing well at all. It was rough. I couldn't get there. And then I think at some point I saw a line with Totentan's Swarm Piper,
Mm.
who is from the Wilds of Eldraine set. 1 in Rakdos, 2/3 human warlock bard, which says whenever Totentans or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black rat with this creature can't block, and then 1 in a black. Target attacking rat you control gains death touch until end of turn. I remember being able to kick off a bit of a resource situation here because I had a Nether Trader and my Phyrexian Altar and a
Mm-hmm.
Hearthstone out. So Nether Trader being a card that says whenever another creature is put into your graveyard from play, you may pay black. If you do, return Nether Trader from the graveyard to the battlefield. And then Hearthstone says the cost of each creature's ability requiring an activation cost is reduced by 1, but cannot be reduced to less than 1. So it effectively makes Lyzolda's sacrifice triggers cost 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember finding something with Nether Trader and then Totentans and then using the Phyrexian Altar and bringing it back and sacrificing it so I can then use surplus mana from, I think it was the Mana Echoes again, that ended up saving me for some mana, and then I could just like sacrifice Nether Trader and get a bunch of cards in hand. And eventually I was zooming and ended up, I think, killing everybody with Garna Bloodfist of Keld that
Mm.
I'd managed to draw, which is another Rakdos commander who came close to replacing Lyzolda once upon a time.
Interesting.
I was considering it.
Yeah, Garna 4/3. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, she deals 1 to each opponent. Pretty good. Yeah,
So
great.
This reminds me most of Zergo Stormrender from Tarkir Dragonstorm, for sure. I think that's the kind of turn I like to have, which is come from behind, really make use of what I've got to claw my way out of something. Now I'm in a dominant position. People are looking over. Nothing they can really do because I'm doing everything with like the sacrificing, so it ended up being a nail biter finish, and I think it was down to both of us. And I attacked with a rat that I sent in, and they forgot that I could give it death touch and lost their 1 blocker and attacker. So I got to swing in
Nice.
again the next turn, and it ended up working out.
I love that. Are there any cards or like a dream card to add? Or are you like, no, if I think of it, it goes in here?
So basically, this is the deck that I kind of decide every new set. If there's a card I really like for it, I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So there really aren't any cards that I can think of at the moment that I would do that with. The only one that I can think of that I've been toying with the most would be Tombstone Stairwell, which I have a couple copies of, and it's either awful for you or way too good for you. And either way, it's out of the deck at the moment for a reason. I haven't pulled the trigger on wanting it to be that kind of level of Aristocrats deck.
You got the text for
I've
it?
seen this card. I've never actually seen it played, though. It's a Enchant World for
Great start.
two miscellaneous and 2 black. Cumulative upkeep, 1 miscellaneous and 1 black. I'm going to just read the whole thing rather than try to summarize it.
Text.
At the beginning of each upkeep, if this enchantment is on the battlefield, each player creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token with haste named Tombspawn for each creature card in their graveyard. That's insane.
Yep.
At the beginning of each end step, and when this enchantment leaves the battlefield, destroy all tokens created with this enchantment. They can't be regenerated. That sounds amazing with a Blood Artist. The number of death triggers would just be
Astronomical.
Absolutely
It's not
insane.
just your creatures, it's your opponent's creatures. Each upkeep, everybody makes
Yep.
those Tombspawn tokens, and then they die.
They are hasty. They could attack
They could
you.
attack, yeah, but everyone has the same.
Yeah.
You usually have roughly the same amount. Maybe there's like 4, 3.
Yeah,
6
and then
or
they just
something.
bump into each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also really think the art is fun and goofy and cool,
Yeah.
while also illustrated by a guy named Dom, which is just DOM exclamation mark.
And he has an exclamation mark at his name. Yeah.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah, every so often I think about throwing it into my Ognis deck, who gives me treasure tokens for creatures with haste.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks fun. It looks like, if you like game actions and things to happen, it definitely...
Something's happening every turn for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But you're paying a lot of mana for that cumulative upkeep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes, though, you get this down and you only need 2 turns with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you have the Mayhem Devil, not Mayhem Devil, oh my gosh, the Agate Instigator sort of affects your
Instigator, yeah, cooksy everybody.
You know, Mayhem Devil doesn't actually work with this one because the tokens are destroyed.
Not sacrificed.
Oh, not sacrificed, okay. Yeah.
Which you'd think that Barry would translate to sacrifice, closer to sacrifice, but it is destroy.
Well, I guess the solution is just take out Mayhem Devil, put in Tombstone Stairwell.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
1 for 1.
Easy peasy.
Is there anything that we didn't get to chat about this deck, or any specific stories or origins or future for this deck that you didn't get to say?
I mentioned that this is my blinged out deck, so all the special versions of stuff is in here.
Oh yeah.
I did say that, I've got my favorite versions of all the art in here that I have. I've got this gorgeous Nykthos promo that I was able to find. But I think the Phyrexian Altar that I mentioned earlier is my proudest inclusion. However, what made it easy for me to determine that I was going to foil this one out and double sleeve it and really take it there was when I found these basic lands from the Ravnica Rakdos pre-con thing that they did,
cool.
where they've got foil versions of the, not necessarily I guess it's a watermark, but it's the Rakdos symbol on it in the text box area. And there's other ones like this from OG Ravnica that I think I'll hunt down next. But yeah, I think that's where it's at. Is I've gone through all of the cards in this deck and found the version I like most, and if it's in foil, it's in foil, including the basic lands.
I love
because this is my deck. This is my big one.
It is to you as the garbage plate is to Rochester. Your signature.
Hell yeah.
That was perfect bookends.
All right, Mike. Well, I think that's it for chatting with you today. Amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Like a beast.
Yeah, it really can be.
It looks like a little joy to play.
And looks really fun to play against if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Mike, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
What a treat. How fun was that?
Oh, that was a great little deck.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll even get to play it against
Yeah, I'd love to. And if we're in the same city, and that goes for any of our listeners or any of our guests. If you're in the same city as us and you want to play a game with us, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll play.
Yeah, maybe we'll road trip with Mike to Commander's Field in 2026.
Who knows? Well, that was a treat. Any final thoughts, Neil? Anything you didn't get to say?
No, just read the credits.
That's credit time. You can find us on Blue Sky and YouTube as Untapped Libraries, as well as Moxfield, where all of our guest deck lists are available, including this one. Our music is by Sparkling Water. You can find all of their music wherever you get your streams. Untapped Libraries is a proud part of the Podcavern Network at podcavern.com. If you have any questions, comments, or creatures to sacrifice, we can be reached at untappedlibraries@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and keep building.
Hey, what's going on? We are Pull the Plug Podcast with myself, Mrs. Godzilla.
And me, Justin G.
Myself, Justin Briner.
And me, Sarah M.
Pull the Plug Podcast, it's a place where music fans, pop culture nerds, and people who love dick jokes come together each week.
A place of worship, if you will.
Check us out at ptppodcast.com for all your dick needs.